The Toyota CHR has one amazing quality. It can make you feel rich. We got diamonds here. Diamond, diamond. The door grabs, diamonds. Diamonds right here. More diamonds. And here we have multiple diamonds. And here too. This vent, I'm calling it a diamond. I'll leave you to tell me if that's a diamond, but that is definitely a diamond. Diamonds, diamonds on the speaker grills. And if you look carefully, you can see diamonds reflected in the glossy black plastic. Are you feeling wealthy enough yet? Let's talk price. The LE starts at about $21,500. There's 4 trim levels in total. There's the XLE and the Limited, which is the most expensive at $26,600. And then this is in the middle, the Nightshade edition. This is at $24,300, and this edition is new for 2021. The Nightshade edition is an appearance package. It comes with black door handles, and apparently these are hidden because I can't really find them. Can you help me with this? 18-inch wheels, color black. The front spoiler is black too. This has a black roof. Also part of the package are these door handles that unlock when you touch them. And to lock it, you just need to press this little piece right here. The mirrors fold. The Nightshade edition is going to cost you just a little bit of money because this is $2,800 and it doesn't even include leather seats. This is the super popular crossover segment, or the CUV, crossover utility vehicle, and it is essentially replacing cars right now. People want something that is a little bit of an SUV, but not really, but still want to feel like it's an SUV. We need to discuss styling. So this is the CHR, and in my mind, this is probably one of the more interesting looking and perhaps controversial cars in Toyota's lineup. These LED headlights are pretty massive. They extend all the way from the center of the fender all the way right into the nose. The nose is a little bit of a departure from traditional Toyota styling with these huge sort of waterfall style grills. Here we've got the bumper integrated into the front piece, and I think it looks pretty well done. We've also got, oh look, there's more diamonds down here. I guess that's sort of a hexagon. But one thing that is sort of common to the Toyota brand now is all of these lines kind of converging on the Toyota logo. You've got a little bit of a boy racer aesthetic here. And the middle of the car kind of seems squeezed together because you've got this black plastic accent piece over here and you got a black roof, and it kind of gives it this squished in the middle look, and it all flows out the back with more lines and more lines and more lines. There's a lot of round lines. There's a lot of interesting things going on in this car. Let me know in the comments below what you think of the styling. Is it a yay? Is it a nay? Or is it somewhere in between? It's pretty controversial. This really is a lot more like a hatchback than a compact crossover SUV in my mind. And what you've got here with this really raked rear is you've got a lack of cargo space. Most traditional SUVs have a much more squared off back. You've got this real sharp line that goes down. If you want a power lift gate, this is not your vehicle. Everything is manual here. It opens quite easily, and you can see the amount of cargo space we have. Not exactly massive. We've got a 60/40 folding split rear seat. Kind of nice. They fold down completely flat. I'm a fan. The seats are cloth and they are 6-way manual adjustable. It's for very small people if you choose to drive this way. Headroom is actually pretty good in here. I'm 5'9". I got a lot of space left. There's no lumbar support in here, which I think is a little bit of a downside. On a longer drive, I think it's not going to be that comfortable for my back, at least. The gauge cluster is really good. It's actually very simple to read. I like it. It's classic analog. You got your speedo on the right, you got your tach on the left, and in the middle, you got a little 4.2-inch display, which is not really that big, which shows you the status of the vehicle. In Wikipedia, it says that CHR stands for Compact High Rider. It's definitely compact. I don't think I'm riding that high really, but the gas mileage is supposed to be high. So by the end of the video, I will let you know what kind of fuel economy I was getting this week. In the last couple of years, it seems the barrier to entry now is to have some sort of safety systems in the car, and Toyota is no different. They've got something called Toyota Safety Sense. It's now up to 2.5, and it has a whole suite of features which is standard on this, standard on pretty much every Toyota. It has radar cruise control. It has pedestrian detection and cyclist detection as well. When you're driving down the freeway, it has something called lane departure alert. It'll alert you if you're going to drift out of your lane. It'll actually steer you back in. It has something called lane tracing assist, which basically keeps you centered in the lane. I don't think it works that well personally. It's got a backup camera, of course, a blind spot monitor, and when you're backing up, it has a rear cross traffic alert so you don't back over something you don't want to. You know you want a lot of USB ports, you got to plug in a lot of phones, you got your kids, you got your family, you got everybody that wants to plug in your USB. Well, there's just one port up front. It does have Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and Amazon Alexa. Every CHR gets this 8-inch display on the dash. It's pretty bright, it's pretty high up, pretty easy to read. You got lots of physical buttons. It's not the most responsive in the world. It's got a physical volume knob and lots of glossy black plastic, which tends to show fingerprints. Love that. Heating and ventilation, very easy to use, lots of nice physical buttons. It has individual climate control for each side. Nothing is relegated to the infotainment system. Now we've got these hidden door handles, and normally I'd be looking here to open the door and kind of do that kind of move, but it's all the way up here, and frankly it's a little bit awkward to, maybe I'm overplaying it, but it is a weird place for the door handles. Getting in is pretty easy, not as easy as a full-size SUV. You gotta squeeze in a little bit. Headroom is okay back here. I'm 5'9", not amazing, but you sort of have this roof line which kind of cuts down, and when you're looking out the rear windows, it's kind of can't see that much. You're kind of in this little penalty box back here. Knee room, not too amazing. I moved the seat back so it's one stop back from all the way back, which I think would be somebody who's a little over 6 feet. You got some drink holders in the doors, although there's nothing in the center armrest. In fact, there is no center armrest at all. You got this tiny little cubby over here for your phone. I've got a regular phone. It's an iPhone 12. It's not even the Pro Max or anything. And doesn't really fit that great. Inside is pretty typical Toyota quality, which means there's a lot of nice soft touch materials here. The doors are soft touch too, so are the door handles. The steering wheel is leather wrapped. Once you get down below the eye line though, it's a little bit harder plastics down here. Time to discuss motivation, and I'm not talking about a self-help guru, I'm talking about the engine under here. This is a 2-liter naturally aspirated engine. That means no turbos, that means less to maintain down the line. Also means less power. This makes 144 horsepower at 6,100 RPM, 139 pound-feet of torque. Not a lot. Let's go for a drive. Let's see just how sporty this is. 144 horsepower made it to a CVT transmission. It sounds like this. So, the engine likes to rev a little bit with the CVT. It doesn't have a traditional first gear like the Corolla does, so you sort of get the rubber bandy sound. Now, it's also not that fast, but the CVT transmission does do a pretty decent job of keeping the engine in the power band as long as you've got it in sport mode. Now, the handling is actually surprisingly good. It's a relatively light car, not too heavy, and it's fairly light on its feet. That was one of the things that surprised me. I didn't expect the handling to be this good. It's also surprisingly quiet in here. There is a lot of insulation. Toyota is doing a lot of good stuff with the bonding between the seams, extra weld points. The chassis is very, very stiff, and it doesn't really transmit a lot of noise from the road, which I like. It's a pretty quiet cabin in here. The steering, pretty good. The steering gets a little bit heavier as you increase the speed. There isn't a ton of feedback, but it's pretty light when you're parking it. Certainly, this is not a sports car. Toyota calls this sporty. They don't call it a sports car, and you sort of got to keep that in mind. If you're looking for something that is closer to a sports car, I think the Corolla is probably going to be a better choice. The Corolla hatchback, for example. Is this sporty? Maybe, but it doesn't really have that much power, so it's not an exciting car to drive. But it is pretty easy to drive, and it is pretty competent. Driving in cities, canyons, and stop-and-go traffic, I've seen about 25 miles per gallon overall, which is a little bit less than what Toyota says it should do in the city. Let's be honest here, the design is not going to appeal to everyone. It is offered in front-wheel drive only, and the cargo space is a little bit limited. But it drives and rides extremely well, and it is very quiet. The build quality is absolutely top-notch, it's typical Toyota, and in the compact CUV category, it should definitely be on your shortlist. Please subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching.